lot of people reached out asking about my opinion because they know how I like sit in the middle. And I'm about choosing the right person, not marrying a party and then sticking to it. No matter what that party says, you stick to it. No, this is a choice where you're choosing the right person for the job. You're choosing the right human being for the job, not blindly just picking your party's choice. So the fact that there's two parties is crazy. And anyway, so let's get into the fact of the debate. So the response I got from most people was that, so the people I know that are on the right, ironically, who are typically the, pro-Trump, Trump can do nothing wrong, the majority of the people I know that were on the right, that are on the right, their overwhelming sentiment was that they weren't impressed with how Trump did. They felt like he let Biden off the hook on a lot of things, and they were really not impressed with his performance. How he was during the debate, no one was surprised by his attitude, his demeanor, his words. No one was surprised by that. And it was no longer shocking to anyone because we've seen that, right? That's the Donald Trump we've all known, come to know over the last few years. So not a surprise to anyone. But so many people who are on the right were just not impressed by his performance. They thought he could have done a lot better. Some of them were even a little shocked at how he was toward the moderator, Chris Wallace, who was doing his best to kind of, manage these two people on stage. And it was, obviously not an easy thing. It was clearly not an easy thing. So he did his best. But yeah, there was a lot of issue with people on the right not thinking Trump did a great job. Now, the people I know who are on the left felt empowered because I think a lot of them were scared that Biden was going to ish the bed. Some of them were worried about his mental capacity. Some of them were worried about him not being able to stand up to Trump and fight back to Trump. Biden typically isn't as, I hate to say it, as crass or as obtuse as Trump can be. So a lot of the people I know who are on the left were worried about that. They were pleasantly surprised and happy that Biden kind of held his own and didn't have too many mental gaffes, if you would. He had a few. He did have a few. But he didn't have as many as people thought. I think people thought he was going to go up there and he was going to have this episode of dementia and he was going to completely fall on his face. And since that didn't happen, they were happy. Now, some people said the bar was set pretty low for Biden because people were expecting this implosion, and the fact that he didn't implode and he kind of made it through, they were happy about. Did he do a great job? They weren't saying he did a great job. They were just happy that he did as well as he did. Okay. So, everyone asking my opinion. Not that my opinion means much, but as someone who's in the middle and likes to see what both people have to offer, I gotta tell you, it was hard to watch this debate, only from the standpoint that it was hard to believe that in a very short amount of time, these were the two people we have to choose from to run this country, the greatest nation in the world. These are the two people. Now, my feeling on unemployment numbers, job numbers, obviously before the whole coronavirus, COVID debacle, I like that. I don't care who you are and what color your skin is. If jobs are going up, less people are unemployed, more people are putting money in the bank, more people are at work so they can put food on their table, that is a good thing. I don't care who you are. If you say that's a bad thing, something's wrong with you, all right? A lot of people were able to get back to work. Now, of course, and this is the funny thing about politics, politicians, and this is why everyone's crooked, right? Politicians never want to give credit, right? If a president, if anything good happens while someone is president, the other side says, well, that's because of what our guy did before you got into office, right? Inevitably, that's what's said. Oh, that's not you. Our guy did that. My guy did that before you got in. And you're just taking credit for that, right? But if it's anything bad, if anything bad is happening while someone's president, they say, look at all this bad stuff happening. This is happening on your watch. This is your fault. It's absolutely incredible. Like, do they think the American people are stupid? Where the American people are going to say, yes, yes, that's correct. What's good that's happening now was from Obama. But everything bad that's happening now, that's Trump's fault. Like, are we stupid? People aren't stupid. Do you expect anyone to believe that? And the same thing happened previously, right? When the tables were turned. Obama was cleaning up his predecessor's mess for all the bad stuff. But anything good, his predecessor wasn't given the credit for anything good, it was Obama. Obama did it. Anything bad, the Democrats said, well, that's not Obama's fault. That was the mess he adopted. He inherited that when he came into office. Once again, what are we, stupid? All the good stuff you take credit for, all the bad stuff, that is the epitome of poor leadership. A poor leader takes credit for all the good and then displaces and points blame for all the bad. And we're seeing this over and over again, and they actually say this as if the American people are dumb and are not going to realize, wait a second, man. You can't just say all the bad stuff was someone else's fault and all the good stuff is your fault. So, honestly, that's insulting. So when I hear people say that, and it's always coming from politicians, it's insulting. It was hard to watch because I watched both these people and I was like, this is it. This is what we got. This is what we got to deal with. Do I feel that there is some sort of like mental acuity issues with Biden? I do. I do feel that. I don't know if there's anyone in this country that can deny that at this point. There's something off. He is up there in age. There's something off. And that's not to say he's a bad man or whatever. I think some of the points that Trump brought up, some of the questions Biden just completely avoided, which I think is unacceptable, and I think the moderator should have forced Biden to answer those questions. The fact that a man running for the president of the United States on the first debate said live, "I'm not answering that question." That to me is troubling. I don't think anyone on that stage should say, "I'm not answering that question." Actually, you're obligated to answer that question. So that was troubling. I felt, so Biden had a few of those. One in particular. One of the things that I didn't like about Trump was he didn't give a really strong response to the, are you going to like denounce white supremacists? However Chris Wallace worded that question, Trump kind of answered it and kind of said, "Okay, yeah, stand down, hold, hold back, stand down, whatever." I guess he's talking, I don't know who he's talking to, the KKK or, white supremacy. I don't know who he's talking about, but he kind of was like, "Yeah, I do," but didn't really go so hard at that, which is troubling because to me, you're on national television and someone just asked you, "Do you denounce white supremacy?" And to me, the only response in that is, "I vehemently denounce white supremacy, and that is unacceptable in any way, fashion, form, zero tolerance." Like, that wasn't his answer. He kind of was like, "Yeah, no, yeah, stand down." I was shocked. I was shocked at that. So, both candidates had some major flaws. Yes, Trump really didn't do a good job with I would say his respect of the moderator, but to me, that's how he is. We've come to know that, right? We've come to know that that's how he is. He was just very out there, cutting Biden off, cutting the moderator off. Yeah, I know the moderator had some issues, and some people said he was leaning more toward Biden. I think he gave Biden a few more softballs than he did Trump. Just a few more. But for the most part, I don't feel like Wallace did a terrible job. A lot of people are beating him up. I don't think he did a terrible job. He had a hard job. He had a very hard job. I don't think he did a terrible job. But that's my opinion. But chime in, let me know what your opinion is. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch all around. And it was, I gotta tell you, it was very disheartening. There were so many times where Trump, I felt, could have pushed a little bit harder on some of the things that Biden was backing away from. And Trump didn't. He just didn't, which was kind of shocking because that's not like Trump. And then there was a couple of times where Biden had an opportunity to push Trump on a couple of things and probably get his zing in there. And Biden didn't. He just was like, "Come on, man, come on, he's a liar." That's what people on social media do. He's a liar, he's a racist. You can't do that on national television when you're debating the president. Come up with some facts and some data that will paint the picture for people who are maybe having a little doubt that he is these things that you're saying about him. But to say he doesn't have a plan, and then you yourself don't talk about your plan at all, I felt like Biden dropped the ball there. If he put some more out there about, hey, listen, don't just sit there and say you don't have a plan, you're a liar. Tell the American people what's your plan. So I think Biden could have got a lot more points if he did that. So I think he lost on an opportunity to do that. So, you know, it is what it is. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the debate. Were you as embarrassed as me watching it? And were you like shaking your head and like, oh my God, where are we right now? Let me know. Be safe. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to wash your hands and stuff. Oh, and if you want to talk about the coronavirus questions, I mean, I think Trump definitely won on that, and Biden definitely lost on the coronavirus thing. Once again, Biden didn't talk about his plan. All he did was talk about what Trump did wrong. Biden should have said what his plan was. He didn't do any of that. Huge fail. Huge fail. All right, folks, take care. Be safe.